Hi, we're Maddie and Nico, and we are turning this empty cargo van into this tiny home on wheels. We have no building experience, but we'll take you along each step as we transform our 2020 Ford Transit van.
Hello YouTube and welcome back to our channel. In today's video we're going to be working on tiling a backsplash. So yeah, it's something that we haven't done before, just like a lot of things in this van build. Right now Maddie's taking a couple measurements of our tiles. We just picked up something from Home Depot. It's kind of like a small subway tile. We're gonna have to cut those down and then somehow mount them to the wall. So yeah, let's get into it. In order to cut the tile, we quickly learned that you needed to put tile spacers in before you cut. Without them, the tiles kind of move around and make the cut very hard. So once you have them in, we can cut them, which we do here. When tiling, you want to start on one side and then work your way over. So this is what we do here. I wasn't sure if the liquid nail would stick to paint, so here I am sanding down the paint where we're going to stick the tile to.
So now that Nico has sanded our wall, just on the part where we're going to glue our tiles, we are going to start adhering them to the wall. So we're using liquid nails, Fuse It All Surface. It's advertised as some strong stuff, so hopefully that'll do the trick. Time will tell.
Using this liquid nail, we found out that when you press it to the wall, it pretty much instantly grabs, which is nice. So you just press it on the wall and then you add the tile spacers in and then work your way down the line.
Now it's time for us to grout. We're using a silicone grout.
With the silicone grout, you basically squirt it into all of the gaps. Once you squeeze it into the gaps and run your finger over it, you just need to clean it up with water and a sponge. We found that using a Scrub Daddy sponge worked very well, along with some other sponges. There's one more thing we need to do to our backsplash here, and what I'm going to do is just silicone around the bottom edge here so it's nice and watertight along the whole thing. I got my white silicone. It's stuff that we've used before and we have left over. I masked off just the bottom edge there. I'm going to squirt some in and then run my finger down that line, and then we'll take off the tape. Right now I am making the separator that separates garage and the living room. So I cut my hole. I did it with a router, so it's nice and straight, everything's nice and square. And then I'm just building a frame for our door that will eventually be on this. Another thing we're gonna do is we bought some rattan. We didn't really want to close off the garage completely, just so we can have hot air go back there when it's cold, so our pipes and stuff don't freeze. Instead of using a thin piece of ply along with these to make a door, we're just going to do a frame with rattan on it so air can pass through. Okay, I've got my frame built. Just needs to be sanded and painted. So yesterday we forgot our camera, so we didn't record anything. The last things that needed to be painted, we painted all of them, gave them a first coat, gave them some primer, and we're back at it today. Maddie's doing white over there, and then I'm spraying on green. This is our shower base slash bench, our divider wall door, frame, and the bench seat. So here's our finished product of our garage divider. We didn't really show much of this, but it's pretty straightforward. We built that frame that like you saw, and then this material is called rattan. So we stapled this to the back side right here, and then we actually added some burlap because without it, it was quite see-through and you could see all this stuff behind. So we decided we didn't want that. How we put this on is just we stapled along the edge here, and then we actually routed out a little lip for this to sit inside of. And we added some magnets to have that shut and keep closed.
Today we are attaching our oak boards to the sides of the bed to finish it off.
So I just finished putting this on, this piece of oak. How I did it was I drilled holes in our metal frame here and then just sent some screws into the oak piece. Looks great. Now I got to do it on the back side of the bed. So we just finished installing that oak piece to finish off the bed frame. Looks really nice. Next up is the fill port part. This is gonna go right here. Something like that. We're just gonna pocket hole from the back side up into this oak and up into this side rail. Next up on our finishing touches, we have our wall panel for the slider door. And basically I just copied this black piece that came with the van originally, and then to put it on, to fasten it to the wall, I'm gonna try and use the fasteners that came with that black piece. That shows all my holes I need, so I'm just gonna drill through the wooden piece. Just got my panel started. I put a couple of these in and they're working just fine. Super easy to use. Thought I'd show you how these work. Basically there's this part that's in front, and then this piece goes through the hole. And if you can see, I don't know if you can see this, but when you push this through, this back end gets fatter, so it can't be pulled out anymore. We are finishing off this stair, just making it look a little better. We had some leftover scrap from our floor, and I've just been cutting it up to match the distances, so it just kind of fits in place. Also, once I'm done with this, we're just gonna get some stair nosing or stair edging and put it like right here, so you won't be able to see this strip here. It'll be kind of covered like that. Look at Lucy. So for this, we used some rubber stair edging. So we just cut that up and made it fit to the contours of this stair. Yesterday I got all this trim in. It looks really nice. We painted it, let it dry. I stuck it in just before we got done finishing work yesterday. And on the drive home, it squeaks a lot. So I think what's happening is this piece right here is really tight up against this wall. And since both are painted, it's squeaking now. So I'm gonna take it all out and then sand this edge right here. And hopefully it'll take some pressure off there and not squeak anymore. So I just sanded this piece down, and I also put a little bit of blue tape along this edge. And now when I move it around, there are no squeaks. So if you are having trouble with squeaks, we've used blue tape on the bottom of this, which was squeaking really bad, and now here, and it seemed to have solved our problem. So give it a try if you're having squeaks. Just finished off one of the last pieces of our wall. It's been a gaping hole since we've done our framing and our walls, so it's been a long time coming, but I think it looks great. Stuff is called basswood. It's super thin. This whole wall has a curve to it. So I just sent some staples through, or brad nails through these pieces. They didn't crack. So there's two of them. There's this one, and then it splits there. It continues up. Had to notch out this piece because I didn't really know what else to do. And then finish this piece off as well. So I think it looks great. Maddie thinks it looks great. That Maddie thinks it looks great. On our list, we needed something to cover our garage wires. These wires right here, they're just kind of loose and hanging, and they don't really look that great. So we stumbled across just a vinyl gutter, and it's gonna work perfectly. So how we're gonna do it is I cut a hole on one side, and we have these cross beams that are supporting our bed. So basically it just kind of clicks on like that. So here's my full piece. So basically I just need to cut a strip kind of like that all the way down, and then I'm going to use a hole saw on both ends so that we can run those wires that are kind of coming down at an angle that are going into our electrical system on the wall, so those wires can just come out. I got a hole there and a hole there. So that's our gutter wire hider piece. Looks really nice. Today I bought some plywood. Hopefully it's our last plywood purchase because it's really starting to add up in weight and cost. And we're going to use that to finish out our cabinets with shelving, because on the trip to Moab we learned that having everything jumbled together just isn't that efficient. So we're going to put shelves in. Pretty much we're going to divide them in half. While we're shelving out our cabinets, we're gonna hide these wires, and I'm just planning on building a box that comes out and goes there, and then our shelf is just gonna sit on top of that little box straight across. So yeah, we're gonna get that started. We kind of started on these. They just need to be pocket holed and actually drilled and maybe painted if we decide to paint them. Just wanted to show you our finished off cabinets with the shelves in. As you can see, I divided them in half and then just made it look nice with this piece of wood, which is actually from our ceiling, so they match and it just gives it a nice finished off look. Something to be aware of is if you have this type of cabinet stay, you will have to cut out a piece right here so this can fall down like that. Here's kind of our kitchen cabinet. We store our coffee up here, shelf, and then we actually built this shelf up here for cups and things that holds it nicely. We show you how to do this in our upper cabinet video, so check that out if you haven't already. For our food, we just left this open because we have some taller stuff and it's nice to be able to just put it in there without having that divider. As for our clothing cabinets, this one's mine. You saw me building this weird T-shape, but that's kind of how I decided I was going to do that. So I got stuff down here, I got my shirts up here, and then I got all my pants and beanies right here. And then Maddie has these two big ones, and we just divided those ones in half. And van life pro tip, if you have a bunch of clothing, you can get packing cubes to make storage easier. So yeah, same thing here, we divided that in half. One of the last things I've been working on for this van build is finishing off this back metal piece here. And you can see it from the front of the van looking back. There's this big metal bar, and we're just trying to take the van out of the house, so we're just covering that with wood. Like I said, I didn't record any of this. I should have, so I'm sorry, YouTube. But what I did was first I put blocks. I'll show you. There's blocks up here, and I just attached those with some liquid nail. I gave that 24 hours to dry, and then I took that piece right there, and now that's screwed up into those blocks. And then for the front side, this side of it, I've got this piece. Looks like this from the front. You can see this weird little piece that I cut. I did that kind of last minute, and I think it's gonna reduce squeaking. I was worried it would squeak right on the cabinet because this side's pretty much pressed against the cabinet. So I cut some out to limit the amount that could possibly squeak. I'm getting ready to just put that up. I'm gonna put that piece of wood right here. I'm gonna nail it to the piece of plywood just hanging right there. And then I might liquid nail it up in this corner. Maybe do a dab there, do a dab there, and maybe just up in that corner too. So here's that back piece all finished off. It has held up for the last year and a half. It does not squeak, and it looks nice. So if you want to finish off your van like this, you can do that. That's going to be the end of this video. If you want to give it a like, please give it a like. Please subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Our channel shows you how we built out this entire van. So if you are building out a van and you want to learn from us, check out our channel. As for build videos, we are just about done with wrapping up our build videos. I have maybe one or two more for you guys, and that's going to be showing how we built our headliner shelf and finished off this part of the van and the blobs here. So if you want to learn how we did that as well, those videos will be out in just a couple weeks, so stay tuned for those.